Good afternoon, students. We're going to be working on page 60 tonight, and we're going to be working with using that number line to determine and to refer to our benchmarks of 0, a half, and 1 whole. So tonight we're going to be using that number line to figure out what fraction is greater, which one is least, and if they are maybe perhaps equal to, but today really just focusing on greater than and less than. So let's focus on the first set of problems here, A, B, C, D, E, and F. And we're going to be using number lines in order to solve here using 0, 1 half, and 1 whole. So we are making sure that we are kind of estimating here where are these fractions going to be? Are they going to be closer to 0, 1 half, or a whole? All right, so let's deal with 1 half. I definitely know that 1 half is going to be exactly 1 half. Okay? That is a no-brainer. 1/4, I definitely gonna know that it is further away from a whole because it is only 1/4. 4/4 would be here, and 0/4 would be here, and I know for certain that it would be right here, that 1/4. Okay, so knowing all this information, we can easily see when I rewrite it here that 1 half is going to be here, 1/4 will be here, so 1 half is much larger than 1/4. It's closer to the whole. It's closer to 1 whole. So we are going to use 1 half here. All right, let's focus on B. Let's use this number line to really understand the benchmarks of 0, a half, and a whole to determine what is greater. Okay, so we have 0, we have 1 half, and we have 1 whole. Okay, again, here we have 6/8. So I know, remember, we are working with halves. So when we have 6/8, I definitely know that 4/8 is half of that. So we have to think of halves here. What makes a half of 8? Well, 4/8. So 4/8 would be here, near that 1 half. And I know that the next would be 5/8 and then 6/8. So I can estimate that, you know what? 6/8 is going to be right about here, close to 1 whole, past 1 half. Now, with 1 half, well, 1 half is 1 half here, so it's definitely going to be right here. Now, which fraction is larger? Well, 6/8, because it's closer to that whole. So, boom. All right, 6/8 is much larger. All right, let's go on into C here. Let's use that number line to help guide us. All right, I don't like that blue. I need a darker blue. It's almost hurting my eyes. Let's go, boom, right here. Awesome, that's better. So let's go 0, 1 half, and 1 whole. All right, so we have 3/4 and we have 3/5 here. So 3/4 and 3/5 here. These look really close. This is the first problem that we have today in today's homework that it looks pretty dead on, right? It's not even, definitely not. They're not equal to, but let's go through it. So 3/4. So if I wanted to look at this and say 0/4, this is 2/4, right? Is half, and this is 4/4. It's like, where is 3/4 gonna land? It's gonna land right about here, right? 3/4. Okay, so it's definitely gonna land right about there by using 0/4, 2/4, and 4/4. So, boom, there we go. And then what about 3/5 though? So let's do the kind of the same strategy here. 0/5, we'll have 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and then finally 5/5. Here we can kind of estimate here that 3/5 is going to be a little past 1/2, right? It's almost close to a whole, but not quite there yet. So this one is just really close, really dead on. I would say personally 3/4 is larger. It's closer to that whole by just a little bit. By just a little bit. So let's continue and let's look at 4/6 and 9/12. Looks like it's 0, 1/2, and 1 whole. Here, we're working with 4/6, so let's use that strategy of using our benchmarks here. So we would have 0/6, we would have 3/6, and we would have 6/6. Remember, I'm just doing halves here, okay? 0/6, 3/6, and 6/6. Where would 4/6 go? Well, it would definitely go right about here, right? It would go right after that 3/6. So that's how we can see where 4/6 would land. Okay. And here we have 9/12. So let's use our benchmark. So 0/12, right? Half of 12 is 6/12, and we would have 12/12 here. Well, here, well, it'd be very, it would go 7/12, 8/12, 9/12. So we can kind of see that 9/12 is closer to a whole. So we can see that it is past 4/12. So 9/12 is closer to a whole, and so we would choose 9/12. So I would like for you to do this on your number line and try to tell me, which one is close to the whole, and use those benchmarks, 0, a half, and a whole, to figure out which one is indeed greater or less than. All right, everybody, I hope today's math is a simple one, but in which you have some tools and skills here that you can use in order to find those benchmarks.